Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our Super Bowl 48 preview with Jeff Cadillac from jeffcadillac.com, who is pretty much our most popular handicapper out of all of our handicappers this year, partially because of his awesome delivery, partially because of his record, which is 12-27-2 against the spread on the year in our videos. But whatever he's doing, it's working. Jeff Cadillac, thanks for being back with us.
Thanks for having me, Peter, as always.
All right, Jeff Cadillac. You know, basically a very successful year. The Super Bowl, how are you feeling about this Super Bowl? Are you feeling like you have a solid pick, or are you feeling like the lines are pretty tight?
I feel like I have a solid pick. I've been doing a lot of research this week on the game. I've been doing research, obviously, on both teams and how they got there. And, you know, I'm going to sum it up to you at the end of the video.
All right, well, these are pretty tight lines. You know, Jeff, most of the professional gamblers like to bet props when it comes to the Super Bowl. Actually, we have a great prop comparison chart at Sportsbook Review. Do you cover props at all?
Sometimes. I'm more of a straight shooter. I like to, you know, go over who's going to win and, you know, who's going to lose and take the spread from there. Right.
Well, if you get great analysis on a Super Bowl game, a lot of times it can imply prop bets with a lot more value than with a bet on the side of the total. But let's see what you can tell us about Super Bowl 48. Lines currently are Denver -2 or 2.5. Totals 47 or 47.5. Jeff Cadillac from jeffcadillac.com. Who do you like in Super Bowl 48?
Well, when I did the research on these teams, I looked at the way they got to the Super Bowl. Denver's schedule going forward in 2013 was not as tough, I would say, as Seattle's. In the playoffs, they beat San Diego, they didn't cover the spread, and they beat New England at home, which a lot of people think New England has an easy schedule as well, and that's why they're always in the playoffs every year. So when you look at some of the teams that they played during the year, you say to yourself, well, there's not that much tough teams there. You know, there's not too much competition. And I tend to agree with them. I think Denver had an easier road than the teams in the NFC. You look at Seattle and the road that they took to get to the Super Bowl, you see Carolina, playoff team. You see they beat San Francisco. Obviously, they had to play them 3 times this year. They played New Orleans during the year, another team they had to beat in the playoffs. Seattle's losses were at Indianapolis. It seems to be a pattern there. Both teams lost to Indianapolis. You know, you got a secondary for Seattle that's like all world. You got Sherman, Thomas, Chancellor, Maxwell, Thurman. I mean, they could all be starters on other teams in the NFL right now. And especially Sherman, he's like all world right now. And I think Seattle is more prepared for the cold than, say, Peyton Manning and Denver's offense. This Super Bowl also reminds me of when the Ravens played the Giants. It's a little while back for some of our viewers, but when the Ravens played the Giants in Super Bowl 35, the Ravens had the #1 defense in the NFL. They also had a blanket defense. They didn't let other teams score anything. I think they gave up a low 135 points throughout the whole 16-game season. And that, to me, reminds me of the Seattle team. They just blanket you. Now, each team so far in the playoffs tried to run on Seattle. They tried to open it up knowing that throwing the ball was going to be difficult. Wasn't as successful. Denver's defense, you're talking number 27 in the pass defense right there, 27th. A lot of teams didn't take advantage of that. New England last week, they tried to run the ball. Getting to the ultimate here at the Super Bowl, you have Denver, you have Seattle. Seattle's more weather tested. We all know that Peyton Manning, he doesn't like the cold weather. I got to tell you something. I don't think he's going to like the cold weather here in New York. Right now, it's about 13 degrees with a negative wind chill. If they have a game like that, you can guarantee that the wind and the cold is going to affect Peyton Manning. Seattle's more tested. I think they're better equipped for a cold weather, snowy kind of day, which a lot of people are thinking that's going to happen on Super Bowl Sunday. I got to hand it to Seattle. I like Seattle +2.5. I think they're going to rock and sock Peyton Manning, make him throw early, you know, make his offense go quick. And I like Seattle to win the game, and I like them with the 2.5 points as well.
Okay, and the jeffcadillac.com official Super Bowl pick is Seattle plus 2.5 to cover against Denver. And I got to tell you, Jeff, a lot of the early sharp opinions that I heard were liking Seattle as well. I think Denver's going to be a public play. Seattle might wind up being the sharp play, and you might be on the sharp side here. Thanks so much, Jeff Cadillac. We will see how this turns out, and we'll talk to you again next year.
Thank you, Peter.